And that pilot Cookie is a bad shot. That guy, he couldn't fucking hit a broadside of a barn with those heat-seeking missiles.
Yeah, that's right. Cookie. Hey, Cookie.
You loser.
You have a dumb call sign. Does anyone tell you that? Cookie? Jesus.
It's the only one you didn't mean like Cookie. Because everybody's munching on me. What? Huh? Anyway. Welcome to Season 4 of Talking Pondo. Talking Pondo is a podcast where Cliff and Marty give each other a film to watch and talk about them in detail. Some episodes will include a special guest.
Oh shit, Cliff, I forgot to come up with the joke for the week.
Well, that's the perfect opening to episode 105.
I was going to say, damn it, Murphy, you won't play by the rules. But I didn't have anything else, so All
right, guys, catch you later.
Catch you later. Loudon says, check you later, won't be seen this week, so we may bring you the following workout. Yeah, I got to put a little more thought into them, but usually I come up with some kind of goofy joke where I mix both movies together, and I stared at my notes and went, oh, I didn't write one down. Well,
he's a gambler, folks.
That's the joke in and of itself. I was gambling, yes.
Yeah.
And he'll take you by surprise.
That's right. He only plays the game to win.
We're back again. It's Talking Pondo. I'm Marty.
I'm Cliff.
And we're back with two more movies. We got special guest again today. We got Ben Cheknis from the Too Vague podcast.
Hello.
Woo! What's up, Ben? Welcome.
Hey, thank you. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, we're excited to have you on. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
It's an interesting 80s lineup this week.
Oh, yeah.
Heart of the 80s, this stuff. Heart of the 80s. I mean, whew.
What did we watch this week, Cliff?
We watched Vision Quest and we watched Blue Thunder.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's some
Heart
early
of
mid
the
80s
for you.
Yeah.
80 Blue Thunder, 1983, which honestly, I could have sworn came out later than that. Yeah. I could have sworn that was 85 or 86.
Airwolf on the Brain, probably.
Airwolf on the Brain.
We'll get into that a little bit.
Yeah, and then Vision Quest was in 85, which is just
and yet
just
shot
glorious.
in 83. So
shot in 83. I wonder how it took them a year and a half to release it. That's weird.
Well, that's how things crawled along sometimes back then. You'd shoot a movie, it'd take a year or more to come out, and maybe that's what kept things in the pop culture zeitgeist a little longer. And then reality TV came along, and I'm not going to go off on that rant, but
maybe it was getting all the licenses for those songs that they played over and over and over again.
It's a soundtrack driven film. I'll give you that. Yeah. I mean, it starts with Journey and keeps going and ends with, oh goodness, what's the band that did Lunatic Fringe?
Oh yeah, Red Rider. Is that
there you go. Red Rider. So you starts with Journey, ends with Red Rider. It's a rocking soundtrack, folks. I'd strap in for this one. This should be interesting. I got a lot to say about both these movies.
Yeah, we're gonna hit a little listener mail first before we jump in here.
Yes, I love listener mail.
Okay, so Joe Palmer from over at Tuscan chimes in again. I think he's become a regular listener. We appreciate it, Joe.
We got him.
He he was reposting the episode, but it was kind of a message to us inside of it. He was talking about the Clerks and Say Anything episode we put out a few weeks back. He writes, two of our favorite folks teamed up with one of our new favorite folks to talk about some movies, including one with a lot of nerdy arguments. By the way, guys, the official pronunciation of the con is like Tusk. You going to talk about that movie? So he references the other Kevin Smith movie, Tusk. I
like that. That's pretty smart.
If we were calling it Tucson, like Tucson.
Right. I've always called it Tuscan.
So Tuscan.
Yeah. I've always called it Tuscan. Yeah.
And strangely enough, that was another Ben. That was Ben Upon from Chasing the Whimsy. And we've had yet another Ben on the show earlier, which was Ben Hassler from Reels of Justice. So maybe
there's a lot of Bens on this show, man.
By some great strange things, we'll do like a Talking Affleck or something and have all three Bens on or something. I don't know.
Ben. I love that. Have all three Bens on as guests and do Talking Affleck, and we'll do Argo and Chasing Amy. It'll be hilarious.
And so we got another piece of mail here from Isabel Tehran, who will be joining us in a few weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Of the It's Bodacious Dude podcast, 80
Yes,
movies about 80s movies from the 80s.
Yes, I caught many of her episodes.
Yeah. And so she says here, also responding to that episode about Clerks and Say Anything, both of these are more recent watches for me. Clerks last year and Say Anything was this year. She signed up for an audio play for Clerks online and accepted playing Veronica before even knowing what the character was. So that was a big surprise.
Okay.
Still not sure if I should be offended by that or not, she says.
She didn't realize that she was going to be engaged to an Asian design major.
And Say Anything is cute, and I'm, what did she say? I'm super glad I watched it before watching Love Song. And what she means by that is Love Song of William H. Shaw, our latest film, which is now streaming on Tubi.
That's right. And the reason that she's super glad is because we do an homage to Say Anything in that movie. And if you haven't seen Say Anything, you won't get the homage.
And our modern version of it is the character holds a Bluetooth speaker over his head to play the music to the house. We figured, who's got a boombox and...
Yeah, we spent a couple minutes patting ourselves on the back over that one, didn't we?
Okay, so that'll be the mail for today. I got a little bit more, but we'll save for next time because I don't want to do mail for 45 minutes.
Sure,
that could be its own episode.
Well, maybe we should let our guest pick which movie to talk about first.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy. Let's go with Vision Quest.
Ooh, okay. All right. Vision Quest it is. Let me get my pages of notes here. All right. Let me read this. You want me to read this thing?
The Matt Modine vehicle.
What is this?
Vehicle. Vision
Very
Quest.
young Matt Modine. I'm very young. Wow.
Vision Quest, rated R, 1 hour, 47 minutes. Your log line. A high school wrestler in Spokane, Washington has trouble focusing on his training regimen when a beautiful young drifter takes up temporary residence at his home. Directed by Harold Becker, written by Terry Davis, who wrote the book, and Daryl Ponnickson, and then stars Matthew Modine, Linda Fiorentino, and you got a little Ronnie Cox in there just for shits and giggles. Your storyline. Vision Quest is a coming-of-age movie in which high school wrestler Loudon Swain decides he wants to be something more than an average high school athlete and sets his sights on a prize that many don't think he can win. He then sets out to reach his goal alone without much support from his father or coach. His father rents a room to a young drifter, Carla, and Swain falls in love with her as she helps him stay focused and prevents him from losing sight of his goals. I guess it's not really a great storyline for this film.
Those IMDb summaries are always kind of all over the place.
Yeah, kind of all over the place. But yeah, so anyway, young kids wrestling. He's decided to drop weight classes and go down to a class that's super competitive and has a monster wrestler in it. The monster all-state wrestler in it named Shoot. And then amidst all this, training that he's doing and trying to focus on this beautiful young drifter has a car that breaks down, and his dad moves her into the house takes pity on her, moves her into the house, and now he's completely distracted by this woman. Anyway,
played by Linda Fiorentino.
Her first role.
I didn't know that was her first.
Yeah, okay. Right out of drama school. She does this, and then she does After Hours with Scorsese. For Christ's sakes, I mean, come on.
Yeah. When was Dogma in her repertoire? When was that? That was
99-ish, 98.
Yeah, it's going to be after The Last Seduction, which is, in my opinion, probably her best role. She's just creepy, scary in that role. She's in Jade. Let's see. Yeah, of course, she does Men in Black a little bit later.
Men in Black, yeah.
So she does Men in Black in 97, Dogma in 99. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like Kevin Smith must be a fan of this movie. Yeah.
Who?
It feels like Kevin Smith is a fan of this. I feel like if he'd been making movies in the 80s, maybe this is something he would have churned out back then.
I completely agree. I mean, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, it seemed, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I wasn't in the whole jock scene. I did have a friend who was big into wrestling, and I know this sounds a little bit I guess can I say gay? Not that for better or for worse. But we used to wrestle. We used to have sleepovers and we used to wrestle, and he would teach us how to wrestle and stuff. So he was really into the whole wrestling scenes. So I could understand some of the things that went on in the movie, but it just wasn't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to explain. Like coming of age movies. For some reason, this just didn't connect the second time around. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I remember loving the movie the first time.
I'd never seen it before this week. I thought I had, but I'd only seen the Madonna videos. I guess somewhere in my brain, I thought I had seen this kind of sports movie back in the day, but watching it this week was like, no, this is a fresh experience for me. I've never seen this all the way through, just little pieces. I wasn't even correct with what I thought it was about.
Huh. That's interesting. I didn't know it was a blind pick for you. That's cool.
Yeah. So that was kind of refreshing in that way. But it's funny because a few months ago we watched Youngblood, which
I was going to say
that hockey movie from the 80s, and I was picking up on like some subtext in that movie where it seemed like that movie had a little bit of gay coding in it. One of the things that I picked up on Vision Quest is it felt like it was bi-coded, which is very unusual, I thought, because some movies are either go the straight or they just go the gay, but this one felt like there was sort of a bi representation. Now, this is just I don't know if it's intentional fallacy or if I'm just reading into things, but I noticed a few things I thought were very interesting that kind of elevated the movie for me. Within the first 10 minutes, we are seeing him get hit on while the guy's teaching him Tai Chi.
Right.
And so he's like freaked out and he runs out and then he meets up with his other friend on the motorcycle. And then he's kind of like, well, nobody ever did that to me before. Like he's not
tried to grab my wad. Yeah.
He's not repulsed, but he's not sure because he doesn't know which way to go. He's on his
he's freaked out.
You see. I think a perfect tagline for the movie, as crude as it would have been, but I'm just making a silly joke here, is first he pins her and then he pins him. Because it really kind of felt like there was a little bit of that in between thing. I'm not saying there's absolutely nothing wrong with this, but I kind of like that it was like, look, you don't see that too much in movies, and maybe that gave people something to identify with. But is there anything like that in the book, Cliff? Is there any?
No,
because I never read the book. No, I figured the subtext might be different because of a filmmaker.
No, in the book, it's the book's interesting because in the book, first off, they build Shoot. One of the things I like about the movie is that they talk about Shoot like he's a monster from fucking Greek mythology, right? Like he's
training with the log, and
he's this. Well, but even before that, he's this legendary character like Cooch, the kid who thinks he's a Native American. At one point, is like, yeah, man, his old man has to hit him with a cattle prod to keep him from fucking the fireplace. Like, just all these crazy stories, almost like Jay Muse, the kid of neighborhood legend, right? And so there's this legend built up around Shoot, and then of course when he goes to see him, he's carrying a fucking log up the bleachers, and you're like, oh, maybe some of this is actually true. This guy in the book, he and Shoot know each other. Like they don't go to the same high school, but they kind of, because it's a farming type of community, right? Like a more rural type of community. Everybody kind of knows each other. And at one point in the book, the dads and Shoot and Loudon all eat dinner together at a restaurant. I think because they've gone to visit like a college or something for college, like a college scholarship. And in the book also, she is not this hot girl from New Jersey. She's a woman who got in trouble. She's older than he is for sure, but she's got in trouble. She's had a kid. And he talks about, like, in the book, he talks about the fact that he loves her stretch marks. He loves that she's a woman. He loves that she's older than he is. And
he does have a body part thing going on, right?
Yes, he does. Absolutely. And he does. He writes about him, for the school paper and shit. But yeah, the book's a bit different in that respect of how they represent her. And this, I think it's fucking, that bi-coded thing's very funny.
There's that other line where he says she has all the qualities I look for in a woman and in a man. And it's like, you go, wait a minute. This movie's trying to say something a little subtly here. But I kind of appreciated that because you don't see that in a mainstream movie very often, even if it was intentional fallacy. Maybe it's just me watching a 41-year-old movie and picking up things through modern
I think
sensibilities.
possibly, yeah. I think possibly looking at it through a modern lens.
Well,
yeah.
it made me enjoy the movie more. So.
The cook is I was pointing this out before. That cook is from the Abyss. He's in the Abyss.
That's why he looked familiar.
Yeah, he's one of the oil rig guys on the Abyss, which I thought's great.
You know what? That speaking of that, the wrestling coach.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him from the Thing.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that actor's name is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't either. But in fact, now that we're talking about it, the wrestlers in general, fucking Forrest Whitaker is in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right? Very young. Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me? And the kid who plays Jake from 16 Candles is the kid who plays his friend Cooch. That's so right. And there's several other kids who ended up in other 80s teen movies in this film. It's well cast, very well cast.
Princess Vespa is in it too.
Yes,
from Spaceballs.
Daphne Zuniga, yeah, absolutely, yeah. She's rich as shit now. She doesn't need us. She owns a baseball team.
So I thought it was interesting. Oh, go ahead, Cliff. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the old Tai Chi come fuck me maneuver. I mean, I get it. It's that's his tale as old as time. But I don't know. I agree with you. I like the way he's not like he doesn't turn around and punch the dude.
Yeah,
he doesn't get violent about it. He's kind of embarrassed about it, and it's more like I didn't know what the fuck to do. How do you react in that situation? What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to punch him? Am I supposed to run?
Yeah,
what am I supposed to do? This guy grabbed my wad, right? Like, what a fucking weird thing to have to deal with.
Well, it leads to the scene, right, where he kind of semi-assaults Carla there briefly, and you go, man, these fucking 80s movies, they always do the kind of anti-hero thing, like in Big Night, where you find out the guy was cheating on his wife, or in The Border, where Jack Nicholson's just a shithead through the whole thing, and it's like, who am I supposed to root for here? But then I go, wait a minute, you have to. If you could, I have several feelings about that scene. First, is there anything like that in the book? Does that scene happen in the book?
It's been a while since I've read it, but I don't remember it.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Would the movie work without the scene?
I mean, yeah, but I think
you need something away, right?
You need something to show that he's that he's growing up, and B, that he's learning how to deal with relationships and with women.
And she clapped him down pretty good.
She flat out fucking tells him, like, you think that shit makes me horny. It doesn't. You know what I mean? You need to fucking respect a woman and what she fucking wants, and that's how you're gonna get.
So it's part of his confusion.
This
right?
male jock bullshit that you're pulling isn't fucking cute. It's not. It doesn't turn me on. And in fact, you're an asshole.
Right.
And I like that. That forces him. Again, coming of age, growing up, forcing this kid to look at himself and to figure out who he is and who he wants to be is a big part of the movie.
And I think it's a little like a guy too, because he doesn't know the difference in a way. He wrestles all the time, and it's like, well, you can't treat a woman like that.
Right.
Well, I read it as, along with the Tai Chi scene, that he just was a high schooler that couldn't read signals.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
people's. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I was at, where he just couldn't, he didn't know. You're right. Well,
and he is they say it in the movie and it is in the book that he showed up to wrestle with hay in his hair. You know what I mean? I mean, he comes from from farm life where it's probably a little bit rougher. I'm not excusing it, but it's probably a little bit rougher. And he probably didn't have the exposure to people like he does once he gets to this town and he's going to school with a lot of kids and that type of thing. Right.
Yeah. The movie doesn't give us that context really. No, it sort of shows him as naive, but it doesn't show the farm stuff. Yeah.
And it does show the family as being very open. I mean, I don't know any of my family members who would just welcome a stranger into their house, you know what I mean? Like that. So
very true. Yeah.
It kind of gives that sort of hometown open family kind of feeling.
Doors unlocked kind of, doors unlocked
exactly.
Type of thing. Yeah. I love his buddy, the cook. So what they've decided to do with this is it's kind of a rom-com. It's a coming of age, but there's a little bit of rom-com in there. And so what they've decided to do, instead of the old best friend giving you bad sex advice trope, they've moved it to the cook, because like at one point he's like, do you know anything about the clitoris? And he's like, well, I think I know where it is, sort of. I know. He said, no, he's like, I know I know what it looks like, sort of. I kind of know where it is, and so he's just, he's just gives bad advice all the time. You want to be a Coos doctor in outer space? What the fuck? And he's just, I love him so much. I think he's hilarious.
I think it's interesting that the guy's name is Loudon.
Yeah.
I met a Loudon in real life. He's in our first movie, Loudon Passport.
That's true.
Marijuanos. Yeah. And then the other movie that almost ended up on the show today, Who's That Girl?
Yep.
Isn't there a Loudon in that?
Yeah,
or am I...
there's the Loudon in that, and then also Madonna in it. Yeah.
Wow.
So one of my favorite lines. I know this is not something that quoting other lines from other movies, but one of my favorite lines from Who's That Girl is, "We did one of your things. We killed the pimp and the fat man. Now we do one of my things." So anyway, that would have been my quote for the Who's That Girl episode. But anyway, yeah. So there's a connection with Loudon. That's the first thing that came to mind to me, was his name is Loudon, and there was that character in Who's That Girl, and then also Madonna's in it. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so Madonna plays she's a singer, I guess, in a bar which is really weird. She doesn't have a part. She's just the singer in the bar singing her two songs during the movie, Gambler and Crazy for You, which were written for the movie. They're not on any of her albums. And I think what I read was that she agreed to do the movie and do the songs for the movie because she would the reciprocity was that Harold Becker would direct her videos. Right. So she'd get a real time director to direct her videos, because back then film directors weren't directing 3-minute videos for fucking MTV. That's not how it worked. Right. So,
well, that's interesting, because I watched the video for The Gambler earlier today, and you can see the Vision Quest slate. And I'm thinking, is this just made out of outtakes, or did they shoot a video while they were making the movie? Probably shot some video stuff during the movie. Yeah,
probably.
Right?
Well, if it was me, that's exactly what I'd do. Is I'd be like, okay, go ahead and shoot some extra footage, because I'm going to use that for her video, right? Like while we're here. I mean, we've already got we've got the whole bar, we've got everybody dancing, we've got the production value. Let's shoot it, right? Who the fuck puts garlic salt on eggs? Listen to me, if you're putting garlic salt on your eggs, stop it. Stop it right now. Don't do that. That's wrong.
Is it a regional thing, or
you're going to need garlic salt? It's like it's the worst delivered line in the fucking movie, and I cringe every time I hear it. Mainly because you don't put garlic salt on eggs.
What about those people who put hot sauce on eggs, though?
I'm fine with that. Kensho, okay. Go ahead.
Right.
Like garlic salt.
So no. I have to return the Vision Quest cookbook I bought you?
Yes. Well played, sir. Yeah. Oh, that's good. I love that they show how obsessed Loudon is with his goal. I don't know a lot of kids in high school that were this obsessed with what they were trying to do.
That's not a real 18-year-old.
There are. I mean, they're out there, but they're driven, and they usually end up being high-performing people, right? They usually end up playing in college at some collegiate level really well, or going into a pro sport. So I do love that he goes to bed thinking about working out. He wakes up working out. This kid, that's all he wants to do is drop this 22 pounds and wrestle this fucking guy, because he's just got to find out, and that's the thing. He's got to find out because he's going to regret it his entire life if he doesn't. If I don't do this, I'm going to think about it for the rest of my life. So I'm going to do it. Right. And I admire that. I really admire that. Because I think a lot of us wimp out and give ourselves excuses why we don't do it, and give ourselves excuses and then regret it later in life, right? And go, shit, I should have done that. Sorry, Ben, I cut you off.
Oh, no. I was going to say that's kind of, I did know those people in high school who were really driven. In fact, there was a guy who became a center for the Miami Dolphins that went to my high school, but he wasn't big at the beginning of high school. We'll just say that. And he just was a monster at the end. But that was his thing. It was like, he got an idea in his head. He that's what he wanted, and that's what he did. But that's one of the reasons probably why I didn't connect with it, because I didn't know what the heck I wanted out of high school. I mean, I had no idea.
I admire people who do. Like I admire people who early on focus on a thing and go, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to be, and drive towards that. Whether it's a chef of 35 years or a guy who played football for 20 years or whatever, a scientist who's like, I want to be a chemist, boom, go off and run. And I really admire that. Yeah. Cause I'm fucking all over the place. Like, you know,
I was more of a Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That was kind of me, except for the rich part.
So, no Ferraris.
No Ferraris, and you know, I had a Mercury Lynx. That's what I had.
Hey, at least you had a car.
Yeah, this is true. That's true.
When she catches him sniffing her panties, it's so creepy and so cringy, but yet also it's so real. I love the fact that the movie does that. It doesn't shy away from making him look like an awkward dipshit teenager, you know, yeah, and she just catches him and she just looks at him and fucking holds the basket up and he tries to shrug it off and smile and, you know, and then of course he immediately puts the sheet over his head and starts to choke himself because he knows he's a fucking moron. I just thought it's so, I want that scene in the movie. I want to see Loudon do that. You know what I mean? I want to see him fucking be a dumbass. I love it.
Well, he's acting his age. Mm-hmm. You know what I really like about this movie is it hits the ground running.
Yes.
Like the first 10 minutes, it's just wham, wham, wham. It never stops and you're just off and going. And it takes about until the halfway point before it becomes regular sports tropes where, you know, he's going to make the weight, you know, he's going to beat the guy. Sure. But it's still it's still a fun ride though.
I do love that weigh-in where he fucking takes his underwear off and his cooch leans in and goes, think light. And he's all, oh, you know, to get the weight. It's fucking great. It's, you know, when she's listening to Vivaldi, you know, and drawing in her room at that one point, it's just, to me, it was so like, want to be grown up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Everybody listens to classical when they want to, you know, act like they're being grown ups. It reminds me of this party Travis and I went to in our 20s. We went to skateboard shop and we were in Norman skating. We got invited to this college party and we went in there in t-shirts and jeans, all sweaty and nasty. This party, and weren't told, but it's like a dress up party. Like it's freshmen in college and they're all trying to act like adults. So they're just dressed to the nines and like, it's, you know, and holding martinis and shit. And we're like, oh man, we are way out of place. And like, y'all are really trying to act grown up. This is fucking weird.
Are you saying that the movie's presenting her, because she's supposed to be like 21, right? So she's a little older, but she's still figuring it out.
She's still a kid. Too. She's still figuring it out. I totally believe that. Yes, I absolutely. I know that she knows what she wants, but she's so fucking naive. She thinks she's going to buy a car and drive across country and just suddenly be an artist, right? Like,
it worked though. Daryl Poniscan, am I saying his name right? The screenwriter of the movie. He wrote the book, The Last Detail.
Really?
Isn't that weird, Cliff? We covered.
You're shitting me. We just did that. Yeah, we just did that movie a few weeks ago.
And as another aside on The Last Detail, there's a sequel to that he wrote as a book. And then that was turned into a movie that's not really a sequel, but it kind of is. And that's Last Flag Flying, the Richard Linklater movie. Isn't that strange? That was a rabbit hole that I went down on. It's not really related to this, but just because of the screenwriter. And it tied into movies we had covered before. So I wanted to sneak that in.
The cinematographer is, guess what he shot? Tootsie.
Oh, really?
French Connection, Network.
Yeah, the cinematographer at Blue Thunder did some stuff we covered before too. So
nice. Yeah, this guy obviously he did some real killer films. I mean, Network is considered to be a top, and French Connection, of course, also. So those are pretty big. So one of my favorite scenes. Go ahead.
Oh no, you go. I got a little story. Okay. So go.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie is when he goes to do some research on shoot, and he goes to the match to watch shoot wrestle, and he's got his tape recorder with him. And the match starts, and the match is about to start, and he turns on the tape recorder and goes, "Notes on the Shoot McLean match." And then the match starts, and he doesn't say a fucking word because his jaw drops as he watches this monster destroy this kid. And he's just like, and he just puts his hand on his head like, oh fuck, like what have I gotten myself into? What am I thinking? I absolutely adore that because it really drives home that he is really trying to do something big here, Anyway, I thought that was a great scene. Makes me laugh every time.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Okay, so here's I don't know. This is kind of out of context. I have this note that says, "Why does the school song sound like the Ewok song?" And I don't remember.
That's an excellent question.
Yeah,
I'm going to say 1983 is the answer.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
There you go. Is it the same? Maybe it's the same sound composer or something. Who knows? Did John Williams score this?
It's that Wub Wub song, that Yub Yub Wub Wub thing at the very end. That's the one I was. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, that's great.
Let's see. When we were in high school, Cliff disappeared for a little bit, and nobody knew where he went. And it turned out there were some issues that had happened that we discovered later. But the rumor was, well, to give it a little more context, there was this kind of camp for young boys where it was not quite juvie hall, but it was a disciplinary place where you learned how to do things in the outdoors and stuff. And it was set up in this big tent complex. And it was called Vision Quest, one word. And we were all convinced that Cliff was in Vision Quest for about 3 or 4 months. They sent him off to that Vision Quest thing. We'd drive past it and think maybe he was over there. Turns out that was not the case, but that title just makes me think of that. So.
That's great.
They probably wouldn't have a place like that nowadays.
That's great. First mention of the word priapism I ever heard in my life, which would become a word much more frequently heard of once the boner pills came out. Because priapism is when you have an erection that lasts for a very long time and won't go away. And of course, in all of the boner pill things, they say, if you have an erection lasting more than 4 hours, you should call a doctor.
Well, what's the priapism in Vision Quest for it? How are they using the word?
He passes out and he's talking to Tanaran. Tanaran's giving him water. And he goes, "Oh, I'm just low on iron, and possibly I'm suffering from priapism." Because he's talking about this girl who's moved into his house and how hot she is, right? So, he's walking around with a heart on all the time.
And then he's always bleeding out his nose too, because he's losing that weight. No, I guess not the most healthiest fashion, right? I wouldn't. Think.
I mean, wrestling and these wrestlers they purge. They eat and they throw up to get that weight where they're supposed to be. It's not a pretty thing. It's not, especially if your body isn't naturally, geared towards that weight, right?
Yeah, and one other thing that I picked up about the character of Loudon is, he was, I don't know, he wasn't a standard jock for some, you know what I mean? He did have, this thing about writing that I think, he also narrated, right? Loudon narrated a lot of this too, as well.
Yes.
So his whole penchant for writing and speaking and using words like priapism, it's like you got the impression that, he was, this was just kind of an experience on his way to wherever he was going to go next, right? It wasn't like he was going to be a wrestler for the rest of his life or go to the Olympics or anything. It was just a thing that he wanted to experience.
It's a mountain to climb. It's a goal.
Exactly.
It's an achievement. It's a thing bigger than him that he's trying to achieve. And I completely agree with you. And I think that's one of the reasons the movie resonates a lot with me is that he's not a typical jock, like you said.
Yeah.
He's not doing, you never see Loudon bully anybody because he's a wrestler and he can, that's Otto. That's what Otto, the asshole, does, right? Is he bullies fucking kids because he's a big tough guy wrestler. That's not Loudon's bag. And the fact is Loudon could probably fucking take Otto if it really came down to it, right? So I really like that. I like that about Loudon, and I like that about the movie, that they make him way more than just muscles and, wrestling. The whole thing is just a metaphor for what he's, like you said, what he's trying to do, this achievement and what he's trying to go through.
Yep.
Would it play?
I loved your article on the clitoris. I showed it to my mother.
Now that's got to be recorded at the end. But would this movie play for a modern teen audience? Not like I would know, but
I think so.
I think it's universal
so.
stuff, right?
I think it's pretty universal, and if there is bi-coding in it, I think the new generation probably pick up on it a lot more than we would, and so there you go. It might hit for them.
So many 80s movies, you get that 80s cringe where there's those moments where you're like, oh, but this isn't like, where people argue about Revenge of the Nerds and stuff. This one does it in a more humanistic fashion, more realistic, like a young adult novel would be, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can't recall clearly from the book, but I think the nosebleeds are also a device for the film to add a bit of danger to his possibility of being disqualified and not even getting to fully wrestle shoot, right? It's nice to know that Cooch's dad gets a second chance at life by managing the Cleveland Indians baseball organization later. That's nice. Did you guys pick up on that?
I did not.
So you remember when Loudon goes to pick up Cooch for the wrestling match, and he accidentally sees Cooch, and his old man, his old man's telling Cooch what a fucking piece of shit he is, and he's smacking him, and all that. That's the manager for the Cleveland Indians in Major League.
Oh, and okay.
Yeah, so it's nice to know. Was able to life.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
He just act up and became the manager of the Cleveland Indians. Look, guys, you just got to stick with it, and anything in life is possible.
Yep. That was.
I didn't know where you're going with that for a second, but then, yeah.
Sorry.
I should have known by that voice, though, that he's got a very distinctive voice.
He does. The minute I heard it, I was just like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like, where do I know this person from?
And for each win, they're going to reveal a bit of the guy's uniform. No, that's
more young blood.
With each pin, we're going to pull one more piece of Loudon's uniform on.
Yeah, exactly.
That scene, like you talked about earlier. I have a note here that the scene where he forces himself on her, and she like you said, she explains it to him, right? She said the only reason she isn't going off on him is he's still a fucking kid. He's a kid who says stupid shit, not a man.
And so the scene shows as an example to people.
Yeah,
it's
I really
like that Loudon is an asshole as a character. It's showing growth, like grow the fuck up. I like how she goes to see him wrestle and then admits it wasn't what she thought it would be. She thought it was going to be, this jock sort of experience. And she's like, it wasn't a macho violence trip. And she's admitting she doesn't really understand his world and is starting to kind of see that he's got a point of view too, right? Which I thought was pretty good. Now, we watched Fighting with Your Family a few months ago, and that was about WWE. Now, how do you feel any kind of, what is the difference here in these two movies, you think, Cliff? Because they're both kind of similar in ways, but it's different, right?
Yeah, I think they're both about trying to, push yourself to be better and accomplish a goal. But I think Loudon's thing, like Ben has pointed out, isn't really about wrestling.
That's true.
It could be almost any damn sport or something that he's trying to achieve, whereas she is definitely trying to follow in her family's footsteps and be a professional wrestler.
Yeah,
right?
She's trying to be, Rocky or something.
They're both goals that need to be, they seem insurmountable and everything, but, Loudon, it could be, I don't know, it could be fucking cross-country running, whatever it is, right?
I also think there are more Greco-Romans in Vision Quest, too. Anyway.
That's as bad as my fucking Cleveland Indians joke.
Yeah, sorry.
The trip to Grandpa is the one part of the movie that kind of stands out to me. It slows the film down a bit, it almost to a halt.
It makes it. it's a really strange pacing thing.
Yes, thank you. Exactly on my note. It's such a weird. And then also on the way to Grandpa's, why do they stop overnight and have a campfire? Like, we can't condense all this shit down and just go to Grandpa's and then have the kissing scene and then maybe have a little sex on the way home or something in the field. And then, why do we have to? I mean, I know why we're stopping for the thing, so we can have the sex. We got to do the sex, and we can't do it at Grandpa's house because that's fucking weird. So we have to have this stop on the way to Grandpa's where Dad isn't there and Grandpa's not there, and we could do the hunka chunka. But it's weird. I don't know. It's weird. It fucks the pacing up, and it's just weirdly done.
It felt like a reshoot to me because when they're driving back, she's got a really bad wig on, and it looks so different than her hair does in the rest of the movie. And I was looking at am I just imagining this, or I'm like, maybe they came back and were like, we need a shot of them driving back. Or
I'm gonna make a note of that.
I mean, I'm speculating here, but maybe that's why it was so awkward. Like they were trying to fix a part in the middle of the movie or something.
Sure. I mean, that makes sense. Well, I mean, again, it didn't come out for a year and a half, so there, maybe that's part of the reason. Maybe they had to do some reshoots.
I've taken a number of road trips in my life. I've never stopped on the side of the road to go camping. Well, I don't think that's not the first thing that pops into my head. I would rather sleep in my car than go camping.
Well, and I mean, where are the highway patrol that's like, hey, you can't have an open fire on the side of the road. What are you doing? Stupid ass kid. This is a very good representation of an 80s soundtrack. Okay. The Don Henley song on it is fucking terrible. And it reminds me for some reason of Summer School. But
I don't even remember a Don Henley song.
Oh yeah. It's on there.
I must have blocked it
there. But the rest of the soundtrack is fantastic. There's some really good stuff in there and excellent 80s classics that I really enjoy.
Berlin's No More Words is one of my favorites off of that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I have to be honest, that Lunatic Fringe while he's warming up, and that's iconic. The song and the shot is iconic, and it really works perfectly. And the film's also a complete circle. He starts where he ends, right? He starts the film working out, he ends the film working out. It's a complete, revolution.
Now here's the thing that I picked up with the soundtrack. The soundtrack is great if you just listen to the soundtrack. The thing that I didn't necessarily, I don't know, it kind of, maybe it threw me off a little bit. I didn't appreciate them repeating the same songs. Like those were the theme songs of, like the Loudon theme or the wrestling theme or the romance theme. But
it does happen,
it was just
in
the
those
song.
80s movies. It's a classic trope of those 80s movies.
Yeah. And that's I don't want the track over and over and over again. What I want is, and it's okay if it's a musical theme. I don't know why in my head it works with just like an orchestral thing, but not when it's Red Rider 7 times, just like I know he's wrestling. He's wrestling
6th time, yeah.
Exactly. I know he's wrestling now. Okay, yeah, Lunatic Fringe, I got it. And then Crazy for You. Okay, yeah.
Is it the song maybe? Because like to point out Oh Yeah by Yaz in fucking Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
That one feels more orchestral in a way, even though it's not.
True, but it's used constantly. But maybe it's because the song's a little less annoying upon repeat, or I don't know. Maybe is that part of it?
I don't know. If there were songs repeated in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I didn't recognize them because it was,
because John Hughes is a fucking master filmmaker.
Yeah. I look at it like it's like, oh, the music video's on again for this song, and music videos were all the thing at the time, and the movie's got that kind of a cut of like, here's the Madonna song for the 4th time.
Oh yeah, and then also yes, he's realized something song, which is Only the Young. Yes, he's learned a lesson. Here's Only the Young.
He's getting ready to work out. Here comes lunatic French. All right.
Exactly.
Oh shit, he sees Carla. How about some crazy for you?
I'm flipping through the channels. Oh, it's this part of the movie. Cool. I'm going to watch this 5 minutes of this song and keep flipping.
So at the end, I'm going to talk about the end real quick. So he wins the match and he stands up victorious, and there's this great moment on his face where you can tell whatever question he has been answered. He's gotten his answer. He's done the thing that he needed to do. And it's a really great moment. I really like that moment. And you hear the coach say, beautiful, beautiful. And it just kind of drives it home. And I think it's a great, great moment in a film. And I also like it right before when Carla shows up and, at the very end when he's in the locker room and they have that conversation and she's about to leave and he says, I'd do it all again. And, she says, well, so would I. And then comes back and goes, oh yeah, kick his fucking ass. I absolutely adore that shit. It's so great. That's so good. But, for me, the movie's about, showing up, putting in the work, putting in the fight, figuring out who you are and who you're going to be growing up, trying to become the person that you want to be. And also testing yourself and seeing what your limits are and seeing what you can and can't achieve, because sometimes the only blocker a person has is themselves. You know what I mean? I like that.
And it's not like Loudon never ends up in the hospital or anything. It doesn't go that extreme.
No,
he's just training.
No. Yeah. I do like that Pele speech that the cook gives him.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a good scene. That was a good scene. I like that scene.
Yeah, it's a real quiet moment where you get to kind of get an understanding of who this cook is. There's a lot more to him.
Yeah, he's got more depth than he initially, gives off.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And it's just a good explanation as to why people like sports so much, because you're hoping to catch that moment of human brilliance of how, wow, did you see that person do that? That's crazy that they pulled it off. Whereas what Malcolm McDowell would say, that's impossible.
Well, and it's why people watch sports. I mean, people watch sports to see people do things that they can never do and, physically do themselves, and it's quite the achievement, and for other reasons. But I think a lot of people watch sports for those types of reasons. I could never do that.
And I think one thing that this movie did also was the supportive parent, or Ronnie Cox, right? Mm-hmm. He was, it wasn't like you got the main character whose parent says, you're chasing rainbows, you're not doing, you're never going to amount to anything or whatever. No, he was very supportive.
Yeah.
In a hands-off kind of way, but
trusted his kid, trusted that what he was teaching his kid was. I mean, you have to trust your kid to move a grown woman into your house. A 17-year-old boy, you got to trust your kid pretty well, or at least know him well enough.
Yeah,
right.
I
think that's one of those traps that a lot of movies fall into. It's like the parent, you got to have someone you're going against, and this is. You're going against yourself, right? You're going, So
yes, and Ronnie Cox does a great quiet job of that. Ronnie Cox has been in a ton of movies. He's a great actor, and he knows exactly the right level to be at for that film. Not too much, not too little, just the right amount.
And supportive grandpa too.
Yeah. Oh, very supportive. I love Grandpa.
Robert Blossoms is in this. The guy from Christine and Home Alone. Wow. Okay.
Love it. You got any other notes?
I've said everything on that one. Yeah,
I'd say too. Ben,
likewise.
This is I'll say unabashedly that this is one of my favorite films of all time. I've gotten really lucky this season. Or the last few weeks, I've gotten to do two films that are these are literal like desert island type of. Hey, you got dropped on an island with 10 fucking movies. I'll take Vision Quest and The Commitments, please. And I got a few others I want to watch. But this one constantly delivers for me. Every time I watch it, I get something out of it. It makes me feel good. I enjoy Loudon's journey. I enjoy the way that they handle the relationship between him and her. I think it hits on a lot of awesome stuff. I will also say I was fucking 11 or 12 when I saw this, so the nostalgia is really doing its job too on this. But I'm going to give it 5 stars.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I don't, and I feel fine doing that because other than one really bad piece of fucking ADR, there's nothing technically wrong with this movie. It looks good, sounds good, the acting's good, the dialogue's good, it's well written. You either like that type of story or you don't. But technically, it's hard to find a lot of flaws with it, in my opinion.
No, I've been thinking about it all week. Unlike Blue Thunder, which I watched and kind of like, oh, I guess I got all my thoughts on that right away. But this one was a little bit more of a. It sat around. I thought about it for a few days, so I'm gonna go 3.5.
Why are you dissing on Blue Thunder right off the bat?
I still like it.
Oh. We gotta pull it.
There's some plot holes I would like to pull out.
You said 3.5 though.
3.5. I'll say.
Nice.
Yeah. I was going to go also with 3.5. Probably back in the day, though, I probably would have given it more of a 4. But now on a rewatch, it just didn't connect with me. The nostalgia was there, the memories of my friend who was into wrestling and stuff. But yeah, it just didn't. There are other coming of age movies that connect with me more than this one, but it wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination.
Do you have a favorite coming of age movie? Like, do you have one that off your head that's really like?
Jeez, I don't even know if it's coming of age movie though, too, but because it's like those are nostalgic to me more than. I mean, Ferris Bueller's Day Off is probably pretty close to the one I think of. More recently, though, I guess it's not so much a coming of age movie as it is a going to a high school reunion movie. Grosse Point Blank is also one of those kind of perplexing, I'm still kind of young. What am I doing? Kind of thing, right? So,
yeah. We did that one. We reviewed that one too. Yep.
Yeah, funny story with that too is I wasn't going to go to my 10-year reunion, but I rented from Casa Video Grosse Point Blank and Romeo and Michelle's and watched them back to back, and I was like, you know what?
Go. Yeah,
maybe I should go. Maybe I should go.
You definitely should. You got at least to see how everybody turned out, right?
Yeah, and maybe Janine Garofalo would be there at my high school reunion, which would be totally cool. I had a kind of a crush on Janine. Anyway,
me too. Actually, me too. When in her cats and dogs phase, she was pretty cute. In fact, I quoted her the other day. We were talking about the Cable Guy, and somebody made a medieval times reference, and I said, there were no utensils in medieval times, hence there are no utensils at medieval times. Come on, dude, just order, please. I love that. Anyway, so that brings us to Blue Thunder.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So, speaking of the border, Warren Oates, once again. I guess this might have been his last movie because it had a dedication to him at the end. But what is Blue Thunder from 1983, a movie that I have strong nostalgia for?
Blue Thunder, 1983, rated R, 1 hour and 49 minutes. The cop test pilot for an experimental police helicopter learns the sinister implications of the new vehicle. Directed by John Badham, written by Dan O'Bannon and Don Jacoby.
The Dark Star guy?
Yes, and the Aliens guy. Roy Scheider, Warren Oates, Candy Clark. Your storyline is Blue Thunder is a specially modified helicopter. It is for police work, but it is armed and designed to counter street insurgencies. Its makers want to show what it will do, but have to train Los Angeles police pilot Frank Murphy to fly and use it in order to allow it to operate in the city. Murphy and the project pilot have differences going back to Vietnam. The conflict between them continues to heat up as Murphy begins to suspect that Blue Thunder is more than has been disclosed. Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Basically.
Kind of.
I read that Roy Scheider took this so that they could not fucking cast him in Jaws 3. Because he was like,
really?
Unavailable for Jaws 3. Yes, thank you.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, he did not want to do another Jaws movie.
Yeah.
Put me in the air. Enough of the ocean.
So 5 minutes into this movie, hey kids, you want to know how the LA riots and Rodney King happened? Just take a listen to this police dispatch unit describing a black suspect. Just like a male Negro, like right off the bat with the most casual, just like, holy shit, this is 1983 for sure. Like, good God, dude.
And
Anyway.
we're anti-hero yet again because they're peepers.
Oh yeah.
And then
yeah,
I go,
yeah.
oh wait
I
a
don't know
minute.
about they.
We're boomers.
I mean,
Boomers
Daniel
in
Stern
general,
definitely wants, it's
Daniel
an
Stern
thing.
is the peeper.
Daniel Stern is the peeper. That's true.
It's an initiation thing too. It's,
Well,
they always take the rookie over and let him see the lady bend over and show her hoo-ha.
Well, it's the part of that 80s trope again, right? Where you have a lot of this peeping thing going on in these 80s movies, and it makes me think, were boomers into this on both sides of the equation a little bit to keep putting it in the movie so much? I mean, maybe that's why it didn't bother them, because they liked it or something? I don't know.
10 minutes into this movie, and we established the institutional racism of the LAPD and that they're a bunch of creepy fucking pervs. Like, we're 10 minutes into this thing.
But at the time, you watch it in the 80s and you're like, oh, it's just funny, and then you look at it now and you go, oh, what?
Oh, it's still funny. I mean, it's just
it's
funny.
Still funny, but yeah,
yeah.
Damn it, Murphy, you won't play by the rules. It's like, oh, it's going to be one of these where it's and then even Warren Oates at one point says, if I stand up and I don't have an ass, it's because the guy threw it off.
Fucking, come on. You gotta, I'm tired of defending your antics your screwball antics to the commissioner, McLeod. You're out of here, Fucking Jesus.
Which is my whole thing with the movie is, okay, he's the wild card, Roy Scheider. Why are you putting him in, letting him have access to the helicopter that he's going to then unravel your whole thing? Yeah.
I think okay. So here there are a number of things that I'm thinking here because he's grounded, right?
Right.
And he wants to just he's grounded for the the whole thing with the what is there because alderman or whatever.
Yeah, well, because he freaked out, right? Like they talk about how he had an episode in a helicopter and freaked out.
There was that, and then he was busy showing the peeping Tom stuff to Lyman Good, right? When the character, when the lady was who had all the information on the what was going on with Project Thor. Boy, do I know too much about this movie.
Dude,
anyway,
you really followed this plot, man. Good job.
Well, I just it's a nostalgic movie for me, and it's probably one of my favorites too. You said that was like your Desert Island movie.
Yeah.
That Vision Quest was. This is kind of along those lines. It's not the best movie, but as far as the film editing, as far as there are enough characters that I can connect with in it. And it's just very nostalgic for me. But I recognize that it's not. Yeah, it was a really amazing helicopter stuff, which we'll get into. But anyway, what was I saying? What did you say?
You were explaining why they let him. Why they actually and they clearly didn't want him to do it. Yeah.
Right. And the thing is, it's like, okay, so first he had some sort of an accident, right? Or some sort of a thing, an episode. He was back in the air.
Probably a flashback, Vietnam flashback.
Right. He's back in the air relatively, somewhat recently. He gets paired with Jaffo. Right. He gets paired with him. He misses this whole thing because he's over showing the peeping Tom thing. The guy grounds him, not only on that ground that he was, doing that when this government person was getting quote unquote raped or, which she wasn't. But anyway, so he's just trying to, so he doesn't, it's kind of a cover his own ass maneuver by putting him into this project that no one really wants to deal with. He's just he's got to find somewhere for him.
Side, yeah. Okay.
So he just kind of.
So he hands him the vehicle with all the new technology to kill people with. Infrared and silencers and fucking 6-barreled 30mm Gatling gun, and the only thing he doesn't have is fucking missiles, for Christ's sakes. I mean,
but the thing is, what does he care, right? He's just the police guy. Mm-hmm. He's just the guy who runs the police department, and the military has asked the police department. So I think there's a little bit of a play there too, where it's like the military is saying, this is what we're going to use the thing for. The police officers don't necessarily agree with that. And that's part of the whole, the crowd control. You're going to use this for crowd control, and that's the point. That's not very,
So it's like Rush Hour, right? So the FBI asks the LAPD to send somebody over, and what do? They send over Chris Tucker, right? Because he got into a bunch of trouble and he's an idiot, and so they send him over, right? So it's kind of the same thing, is what you're saying.
Well, that makes sense.
Not exactly. They're just trying. They're just trying to.
Not that Scheider's an idiot, but that.
Right.
Okay. Well, here's a person who we don't want to deal with, and you can deal with them. And
until this blows
up.
We're
not really concerned about giving you the most qualified person because we don't agree with what you're doing.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it seems like they both found out about it, what it was designed to do at the time. They, it was a hush hush kind of thing. So it's like, he was just like, you got this special project. I don't know what the heck's going on. We'll find out about it. And then that's when they find out about it. And, he can't really necessarily pull him from that just because of that. It's like, right. So anyway, I'm overthinking this too much, I think, maybe.
Well,
but
it makes sense to me the way you explained it. Is like, he got in trouble. We got to find somewhere to put you for 2 weeks. I don't know what this project is, but here, go do this. Oh shit! Now you're involved in this. And Malcolm McDowell's like, not that guy. And then the next thing you know, he's just walking in and getting in the Blue Thunder and taking off in Act 3. I love that, where he just walks in, gets in it, and flies away like no problem.
See ya. Thanks for the helicopter.
It has like a serious tone, and then the second part of the movie, it kind of turns to a little bit of a cartoon. But I go, it's just kind of fun. You're just kind of, don't pull at the threads too much, because like Malcolm McDowell shooting at the Blue Thunder as it's flying away, that thing's bulletproof. You can't hurt that thing. And I'm laughing. But also when Malcolm McDowell goes after him at the end, he's the one who knows how to disable the Blue Thunder, right? He shoots at the right place where even the fighter jet guys couldn't do. But then if you think about reality, the shock of these explosions would be killing pedestrians all over the place. But I also like how it shows that Roy Scheider never kills anybody, like how the Terminator would do later in T2. I'm just blowing up their helicopter. It lands, they run away, then the helicopter blows up. See, because Roy Scheider's the good guy. We don't want to show him killing anybody. But it kind of became more of a ride towards the end. Like the first part felt kind of gritty and serious, and now it's just, we're going to show off our cool helicopter stunts in the last part. I don't know.
Well, it's definitely a film. There were films in the 80s. Again, this is during the Cold War, right? So there were films in the 80s that were kind of specifically not, it wasn't their exact purpose, but one of the things that the military loved to do was shove their technology into fucking films, right? Because they knew the Russians would see that shit. And they go, look what we can do. Look what we got. We got fucking helicopters you can't hear, bitch. And we got machine guns that track with the head movement of our pilots, right? So if you start to run, all you got to do is look at you and fucking boom, So Iron Eagle's a great example of this. Top Gun's a great example of this. Yeah. These examples
what about
of
Firefox?
Sure. Firefox is another great one. Exactly what I'm talking about. And of course, Airwolf was another one, right? Where it's like, hey, we got this television show, right? So that's definitely where I think where that last half of the film comes from, where they were like, let's show the capabilities of this thing. Let's show the barrel roll or the 360. Let's show the shooting down the F-16, and I love how one of my favorite pieces in the movie is when he's avoiding the heat-seeking missiles, right? And he's just like raining shit down on people. Like, I don't know what the fuck Amos's barbecue did to deserve that, but the only crime they had was of being delicious. Like, poor Amos.
It reminded me of WKRP in Cincinnati when they dropped the turkeys from the plane on Thanksgiving, because you see all
the humanity,
At least these were cooked. At least these were cooked chickens.
He puts the damn helicopter in front of a giant office building and lets a missile just fly right into it. Like, wow. Okay. So anyway, it's one of the things I wonder about this
helicopters don't kill people. People shooting at helicopters kill people.
This is your brain on helicopters. Any questions? This is your brain. This is your brain on helicopters. Any questions? What is the other thing here? It's where did it go?
Like and subscribe.
Oh, the mats. So part of this, I wonder, is did they shoot mats for this? Is this helicopter stuff matted, or are they shooting? Are they hanging cameras outside the helicopters? It looks super real.
Yeah, the helicopters things are real. I think the mats they did with the F-16s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think a lot of that stuff.
That looks like the shit from Real Genius. That's definitely matted.
Right. Yeah, but the stuff with the helicopters was actually done. I believe I saw some sort of behind the scenes thing, and they were really serious about making the helicopter stuff real.
Definitely for the stunts, but I was thinking maybe for like the cockpit dialogue and things like that. Maybe they went to a mat.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. It might be that.
But they look great. I mean, if they did go to mats, those mats look clean because at one point even you get the curve of the cockpit window, the lights off the city on that curve of the cockpit window. It's really well done. If it is a mat.
Yeah, I don't know
the best matting I've actually fucking seen in a movie, to be completely honest with you, because it just looks clean. It looks super, super clean.
They did get nominated for film editing. I don't know. I don't think they won anything, but yeah,
that makes sense.
The unsung hero, the film editor. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I always forget Malcolm McDowell. You're right about the editor, and I'm always forget Malcolm McDowell's in this fucking movie. He just shows up, and I'm like, oh yeah.
I never forget him because Catch You Later is that's just etched in my brain from this movie. Catch you later.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And it's hard not to say that not as Malcolm McDowell. I maybe for me, that's probably my problem. That's a me problem, but catch you later.
I love how Malcolm McDowell has no emotion during that crash. Like, oh, he crashed, whatever. Are you going to play it up a little bit? Like, oh shit, he crashed.
No, he just doesn't. Yeah, I know, no, that's all part of his character, right? It's like, we've got to downbird in the Watts area. That's my Malcolm McDowell. It's pretty horrible, but
it's not bad. It could be worse. It could be worse.
In the Watts area.
This movie definitely deserves an award for weirdest dialogue. For 83, for a film in 83, you've got stuff like the moral of the story is if you're walking on eggs, don't.
Oh, dude, that was my quote.
You've got a hot mince pie under each arm. What the fuck? What a hot mince pie under each arm? What the fuck does that even mean? No smoke. Yes, Frank. This is just a weird dialogue movie. It's just weird.
Oh, what is it? Of course, like me tell you, you listen me, or whatever.
Yes, me tell you, you listen me. The dialogue's just fucking weird.
Well, that's Dan O'Bannon, probably, right? I mean, he brought us the wackiness that was Dark Star and Alien, of course. So.
Mm-hmm. Malcolm is great at playing a real shithead or an asshole. He's really good at it. He's really, really good. He's a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I was going to mention this earlier on with when we were talking about the beginning part of the movie, the presentation. I didn't quite understand who that was for. You know what I mean? There was like a lot of military there.
Yeah.
And there was the police folks. But
it felt like a sales pitch, didn't it?
Yeah. And it's like, well,
this little lady.
Yeah.
His exposition.
Now let's see if you can figure out what's going. The bus.
I see the little lady has 20mm cannons, selective firing, and armor plating, but can she cook? Huh? Can she?
The force of the explosions. Everybody's going to die.
Also, with weird dialogue, it's like there was that whole thing where he goes, it's we. This is a weapon of this is to. A weapon of, I don't know, whatever. And he goes, except, unless you're the civilians. What, do you remember that whole thing, that whole exchange?
He says 1 out of 10 civilians isn't bad.
Oh, yeah, right. And it's like, except you're one of the civilians.
This movie also, again, just weird small things in this movie. At one point, she asks him if he wants ketchup on his sandwich. Why would I want that? Why the fuck would anybody want that? What kind of fucking sandwich have you made me? I have never put ketchup on a sandwich in my entire fucking life, and I have no plans to do so.
You want mustard?
Now, a hamburger is not a sandwich. Let's get that out of the way first off. But like, hey, I made you a tuna melt. You want ketchup on it? Get the fuck out of here. What? Anyway.
Marty, is he always focused on condiments? Is this like a condiment-centric podcast? Is that what this is?
Today's movies we had some garlic salt in one and we had ketchup in the other. It's just
A1 steak sauce. Oh, gosh darn it.
Patreon for more food content.
I can't sit at a table with somebody who's going to put that on a steak. We'll have to sit at separate tables. The old car sawn in half trick, we get to see that. That's pretty great. Oh, yeah.
Before James Bond did it. Yeah.
Yep, the old car sawn in half. That's a good one.
Yeah, there was you know what? The trailer, I don't know if you watched the trailer, but the trailer had something. Thank goodness it wasn't in the movie because it would have totally ruined it, I think. Her crazy driving was crazy enough. But there was a scene where she was apparently doing a James Bond thing where she's on two wheels, and it was in the trailer.
She goes down the hall, like the alleyway, and goes up along the wall and to get around a car, right?
Yeah. But it's not in the movie, thank goodness. Yeah, because that would have been. That's just like.
Well, and I love how they're like, you can hear the writers literally working the scene out, going, we can't make her a crazy fucking driver in the drive-in scene unless we establish it earlier. Okay, we'll have a scene where she misses the train depot and have her turn around and drive headlong into fucking traffic. That'll do it. And so you get this weird scene in the first, 30 minutes of the movie or 40 minutes of the movie where
that's the cartoony thing I said, where it's like, yeah, it's fun driving down the one-way street. We're going to be okay. As far as
that was kind of an odd thing. It's like, oh, wait, I missed the turn. Yeah, one of my notes here is, wow, Kate is a crazy driver. That's one of my notes.
And she puts ketchup on sandwiches.
Of course.
Wow. Disgusting. So it takes 45 minutes to get into the helicopter. To get into Blue Thunder. It takes we have other helicopter stuff before that, but it takes a good 45 minutes to get to the actual helicopter the movie's about.
They stretch the rubber band out as far as it can, and then they let it go, and it flies out for the rest of the movie. It's very, it's a genre action piece, but it has these interesting concepts draped over it, right? It makes it a little more special than your average, bad guy trying to do stuff movie.
And that pilot Cookie is a bad shot. That guy, he couldn't fucking hit a broadside of a barn with those heat-seeking missiles.
Yeah, that's right. Cookie. Hey, Cookie. You have a dumb call sign. Does anyone tell you that? Cookie? Jesus.
That's the only one not taking
like Cookie. Because everybody's munching on me. What? Huh? Anyway.
Here's another thing I have in my notes: unnecessary exposition, which it really gets. I didn't notice it at the time, but you see, in a riot situation, we just want to get the bad guys and protect the innocents. It's like,
isn't that the goal all the time?
Yeah.
so like every other time.
Right. Exactly. But maybe that's because they wanted to convince them that that's what they were trying to do, because Project Thor was not for that. It was for something more nefarious.
You remember at the end where she's driving around in that, I think it's a Vega hatchback, and Blue Thunder's, kind of covering her, making sure nobody fucks. If I had a backup like Blue Thunder, I'd haul ass around the city too, man. That would be awesome. I didn't just cars on my way, fucking taking out cops that dare to throw their lights on behind me. It'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah. Another thing, I think the character's name was Kate, right?
Yes.
That was a really good, like, realistic kind of, girlfriend partner character, which was polar opposite to anything that you would expect, the Roy Scheider character to actually connect with. But it was an interesting, that to me was one of the more interesting things was that whole relationship. And I thought she played it pretty well, pretty realistically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Some might have called it bad acting, but I think she did an excellent job of that.
No, that's the character,
especially especially across someone like Roy Scheider, who just has this kind of, just gravitas, I guess, about anything he does, in my opinion.
So that's Candy Clark.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Norman, Oklahoma. She's right just 10 miles from my hometown.
Wow. Okay.
Raised in my hometown. And she was in some other excellent stuff. The Man Who Fell to Earth, American Graffiti, Zodiac. She's a pretty good actress. She shows up and stuff. She's like kind of reminds me of Karen Allen. She just kind of every now and then you get a movie with Karen Allen and you're like, hey, where the fuck have you been? Right on. I'm watching this Karen Allen, right? Like, it's one of those things.
Right. Yeah, when she shows up for work, she does a good job of what she's showing up for. Yeah.
I love me some Karen Allen. A lot of civilian casualties in this, which I think is hilarious. Cookie being a bad shot, poor Amos and his barbecue being blown up for the crime of being delicious.
What about Jaffo? What about his death?
I forgot that was like died too.
That was brutal.
Right.
Yeah.
Lyman Good.
He represented himself though pretty well. I mean, let's admit he got away from those two guys that broke his fingers with some pretty good karate kicks.
And he hid the tape and he put that recorded message in the helicopter and all of that stuff.
God bless you, Lyman Good.
Yeah, he was MVP. Secondary MVP is Crazy Drivers. Crazy Driving Kate.
I have to tell you, I enjoyed rewatching it. I haven't seen it in probably 10 or 15 years, but I really enjoyed the watch. I had no problem with it. The pacing's a little slow, and in certain points, I could probably cut 5 to 7 minutes out of the movie and not lose much to improve the overall pacing of it. But
did you get nominated for film editing?
Oh,
I think not.
No.
Anyway,
but that's funny because it's me calling out a movie that literally got nominated for Oscar for pacing. But
yeah, it's
personal preference. Totally,
it didn't win. So you've got a point.
I still think it's a great movie. It's a fun watch. It's you're right. It's got that 80s just all over it. It's so 80s. It's so ridiculously 80s this is the 80s where the 80s are trying to be futuristic, but they haven't really nailed it yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's still vector graphics and fucking
computer fonts and stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah. And what's the Buckaroo Banzai type shit? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. And then because by 85 or 86, we get that slick sci-fi.
We switched a bit. Yeah.
Didn't
this director make War Games?
I don't.
He also made Saturday Night Fever. So this guy's got a very interesting track record.
Let me see here. John Badham?
Yeah,
let's see. Saturday Night Fever, Nick of Time, Short Circuit, and War Games, sir.
Wow. I'm standing here beside myself.
I am standing here beside myself.
Wow, Short Circuit. Crazy.
And Stakeout. And American Flyers. Wow. Okay, Saturday Night Fever. Oh, he did Bingo Long, Traveling All-Stars, and Motor Kings, too.
Now, the DP was John A. Alonzo, and he was the DP on Zorro the Gay Blade. Does that movie look anything like this movie? It really shows you what the directors make the difference sometimes.
Have you seen Zorro the Gay Blade, Ben?
Yes, I have.
What'd you think?
Yep. In the theater. I was probably a little too young.
King. That's epic.
I am old.
As are we.
To give you an idea, my first movie ever was Star Wars.
Oh,
same.
Too.
So that's
at the drive-in, 4 years old. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was I was 7. So.
Oh, nice.
6, 7. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're right in that age range, right there.
Yeah, but I do remember seeing Zorro the Gay Blade. I don't think it connected with me at that age, but I do remember it. I probably should rewatch that one as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you do, go back and listen to our episode on it. It's pretty hilarious.
Oh yeah.
It is pretty hilarious.
You know what Thor stands for?
I've already forgotten.
Okay. Tactical Helicopter Offensive Response.
That's right. That's right.
which is how you know it's nefarious, because it's offensive.
Oh, okay. This is the other thing that's very weird about this movie that it always confused me. Scheider's got the watch, right? And he times himself driving, right? And he times himself on different things. But the fucking watch never counts down. It's got the little dial that goes, but it just says 00 the whole time. And it always threw me. It's like, shouldn't it be 20 seconds, 19, 18, 17, 16, as the little analog, dashes click off the round dial, right? And it's every time I look at them, I'm like, why the fuck is it 00? It's just blinking 00. Anyway.
Because he doesn't want to cheat. That's why he doesn't want to cheat.
Okay. All right.
He's very tempted to look at the digital readout.
You really have watched this movie.
That's how brilliant of a helicopter pilot he is, man. He had a watch special made so he can. I don't know.
You read the book, did you?
No, I did not. I just enjoyed the movie a lot. So here's a question to you guys as movie guys, right? Movie makers, lovers, whatever, what have you. So the quote unquote big reveal that the colonel was the guy who pushed the guy out of the helicopter, that was kind of the whole PTSD sort of thing.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that reveal?
Oh, I can see that coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
I thought, why did they wait so long to show it? But I kind of understood why at the same time, Because not everybody's going to catch it and go, oh, it was him. Or maybe he's suddenly remembering now after all this time that it was him. He was
from a storytelling pacing wise, it's perfectly placed. Mm-hmm. I think it's in a good place, right? Yeah. You get to see him thrown off. You get a little bit more with each flashback until finally you get the face, right? But as a filmmaker and a storyteller, I'm like, I can see that coming a mile away.
You're like going, oh wait, now he's an asshole. Okay,
right.
Got it.
Okay, I got it.
It's like, he's kind of established that pretty consistently throughout the entire movie.
He's like the real super asshole now. He's the cause of it all. Yeah. I love the use of 3/4-inch U-matic videotape. It reminds me of the days of public access, where it's just like, look at that old rickety videotape. Wow,
love it.
But that was the
I heard there's a story involving how you used to shoot in an alley. Is that something
we did an alleyway show. Andrew was actually on it a couple times. Yeah, that was the mid '90s.
Yeah, this dude was crazy enough and desperate enough to be on TV that he would shoot in an alley in the middle of the fucking night on Saturday night from like 12 to 4 in the morning.
Oh, it was electric.
Sometimes until the sun comes up. There's footage.
It was 10 to 8 a.m., but we did the 3 to 6 a.m. part.
But there's footage of you guys. I remember there's during when the monsoons came. There's footage of those guys. And they've moved out of the alleyway and under like inside of a business, like not the entryway, but like just the roofed over part. And there's just water flowing down the road, like a foot of water. It's really insane.
And we kept broadcasting. So.
Yeah, kept broadcasting because they're crazy.
Mm-hmm. Fun times.
Okay, not to get this thing back on track really quick. Pun intended. The train versus helicopter. What any thoughts on that kind of resolution?
Well, it was quick.
It seems a little extreme. And if you're not really caring about the train, I guess, I don't know, man. That like how else is it going to destroy the helicopter?
Mm-hmm.
But
that train doesn't give two shits. That train kept rolling after it hit that helicopter.
Yeah. But I mean, did you think of it? Yeah. Did you think that was a satisfying conclusion after he'd done all this stuff with the?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think he definitely needed to destroy the helicopter, and I can't really think of another way that he would have done it other than, suckering the government into blowing it up for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right,
by like having an F-16 shoot it down finally or something like that, right?
Yeah.
If it had been the 70s, he would have been inside it still when the train hit it.
Oh, yeah, you would have gotten that nihilistic ending where he'd have died along with the helicopter.
He walks away.
Well, that's because he was timing himself on his specially made watch.
That shows no times. Yeah, it just says 00, and he has to fucking count it in his head like a genius.
So
yeah, exactly.
they turned this into a short-lived TV show. It only ran for one season, and then Airwolf was the ripoff show, and that ran for a very long time. But I never saw the show of this, but it seems like they must have rebooted things a little bit because you got Dana Carvey in it. I'm guessing he's probably the Daniel Stern character, and they're flying around in the helicopter doing missions again. So maybe it's like an alternate reality where...
Isn't Dick Butkus in it too? I thought Dick Butkus was one of the...
So.
We need copies, listeners, if you can find it on the Internet Archive or something. I'm kind of mildly curious. I'm sure it's probably, 13 episodes or something, if even that.
James Ferrantino and Dana Carvey.
Ferrantino?
This are the pilot and co-pilot, the Jaffo. Dick Butkus is definitely the captain.
Wow.
Bubba Smith is in it.
Yeah, I was going to say Bubba Smith, too.
Yeah, Geoffrey Lewis is in it. So, yeah, interesting.
You know what would make this movie better, or this television show based on a movie better? Football players.
Right?
No? Ex-football players. Yeah.
Who doesn't want to see an ex-football player try to act? That sounds good.
I worked for OJ. Oh, wait. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm going to give this one, I think I'm going to give this 3.5 stars. I was going to give it 3, but thinking and talking about it more, and I just really enjoyed it. I really, really just kind of liked it. It flew by. It was fun to watch. I didn't have any major problems with it. I did, I like you said, I love the whole Warren motherfucking Oates, man. Just doing that whole, I have to defend your screwball antics to the commissioner bit just made me, I just loved it. I just fucking loved it. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
And you mentioned... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm right there with you. 3.5, yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to take the Vision Quest approach and say 4.5. strictly based on the helicopter work and the nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those movies that, not everyone would love it as much, but for some reason I've got a great deal of nostalgia for it. So,
right on.
I still do. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, just, it was a very, it's in my collection and I watch it whenever I can. So
this is also this is during the 80s. This is kind of the height of like stunt work. Right. I mean, I think the height, the stunt work kind of hits with like T2. You get a lot of that, the crazy helicopter onto the the crazy motorcycle out of the window onto the helicopter, that type of shit.
You don't get that without this though. Yeah.
But exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. But there's a great stretch of the 80s where they just kept pushing the stunts until finally they, were like, hey, this is getting so dangerous. We're going to start working in CGI and green screen and some other things to accomplish this because we're going to kill somebody if we don't. Right. But I think these helicopter stunts in particular were awesome. Really well done.
That whole trend pissed off Colt Seaver. I can tell you that much. Who is definitely not a dude.
And since Colt Seaver's based on Hal Needham.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, he's based on an actual stuntman. That's interesting.
So...
Well, you got anything you want to plug?
Anything else? Yeah, you want to plug something? You got to plug your show and stuff.
Yeah. Let's know what it is.
Yeah. So my television show, my podcast, audio only podcast, is called the Too Vague Podcast. We talk about a word and basically storytelling around the word, trivia, very free-form conversation, and then the second part of the show, I connected to video games, which is my passion. So I'm combining my late father's passion, which is words and reading and stuff, with my passion, which is video games. And that's kind of what I've been doing for the last 4 years. So check it out. Episodes. I used to try and release them weekly, but now I just release them whenever I have timely. That's basically the deal there. So check it out and let me know what you think. I'm on all the social medias and stuff. So yeah.
Right on. Cool. All right, great.
And maybe next time we can have Andrew on, who's usually my ride or die for a lot of the podcasts. So.
Right.
Yeah, I'd love to get a chance to talk to him again.
It'd be very fun to have him on and do Jurassic Park, because the three of us have horror stories of working that movie.
We worked that summer. We worked that movie that summer. 4 fucking screens. That movie started every 45 minutes, and it was nonstop hell from the day it opened until the day it left the theater. It was unbelievable. Yeah. But anyways, so you guys want to get out of here on a quote?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Let's see here.
Who's going to start?
I'm looking. I had mine, and I got it. Okay.
All right.
Marty, take it away.
There are no paranoid schizophrenics on active duty here.
That's a good one.
I loved your article on the clitoris. I showed it to my mother.
I like morals, don't you? And the moral of the story here is, if you're walking on eggs, don't hop.
That's it. Ben, thanks so much for coming on, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Maybe we can do it again sometime.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It was a lot of fun. All right. Till next time, guys.
Later. Don't miss an episode. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, and keep listening to the show on the app of your choice. Do it now.